Hello everyone, hope you're having an awesome day today. Welcome back to the Film Insight channel. For today's video, we're going to discuss some more bars featured on Bar Rescue and where they are now. So, sit back, relax, and without further ado, let's get right into the content, guys. The Blue Frog 22. Retiring from her job as a sales manager, Mimi Witchy decided to use her savings to open up the Blue Frog 22. Running it alongside her son John, it was situated in Chicago's River North District, which was one of the city's busiest neighborhoods. Most of the customers who came in were either looking for lunch or something to drink after work, which gave them a surge of business for the first few weeks at least. Though, as a result of a collection of poor management choices, they inevitably pushed their patrons away, who visited better establishments instead. With their customer base declining, so did their profits as well, which consequently made the tensions rise. Accumulating over $400,000 in debt, the bar had no choice but to call out to John Taffer for some aid. Upon his arrival to the bar with his wife Nicole, she notices that the building looks more like a playroom for children rather than a drinking establishment. Going in as recon, Nicole orders some macaroni cheese balls, which come back still frozen on the inside. Feeling like he's already seen enough, Taffer storms into the bar and notices that Mimi and John are fighting in the kitchen. What's more, Mimi seemed to be hammered off of her own supply and was quick to defend her drinking habits. After a lot of discussion, the owners gave the Bar Rescue host their commitment to the upcoming changes. Calling for reinforcements, Taffer brings in designer Nancy Hadley, chef Josh Capone, and beer connoisseur Jason Balducci. Expert Hadley toured around the bar and dubbed it as something like a toy chest since the bar's theme was very childish. Visiting the kitchen, Chef Capone notices that they're improperly storing ingredients and wrongfully preparing food. The connoisseur Balducci pointed out that the equipment in the bar area was poorly set up, making service less efficient. Once relatively all the issues were resolved, Taffer began to work his magic. He first renamed the bar to The Local. On the outside, the walls were painted black and white, and the inside rocked some decor that reflected Chicago's culture. Fast forward to a month after the Bar Rescue team arrived, the business's sales shot up to nearly 50%. However, after going to court to attempt to remove the scaffoldings that were blocking them from using their sidewalk patio, resulting in a loss of profits, the lawsuit was to no avail. Desperately asking for some help on social media, nothing came of it, and they were sadly forced to close down in May of 2018. The Chicken Bone. 5 years prior to this episode, the owner of a thriving excavation business decided to purchase his favorite local bar, the Chicken Bone. Opening up a second one later on, it didn't last very long, closing its doors after a short 9 months. As a result, owner Bill Rodenheiser was forced to move his family more than 75 miles away and double his hours at his company. What's worse, Rodenheiser doesn't trust his general manager Jeff to make any decisions without putting up a fight, which makes business even tougher. Additionally, the owner tries to market the establishment as a family bar, which makes it unappealing to customers. Facing the possibility of his business failing a second time, Rodenheiser called out to the legendary John Taffer for some aid. Arriving at the bar with his wife Nicole, she points out that the sign is very unappealing but eventually goes in to do some recon. Once inside, she orders from the confusingly busy menu and receives a beer without a head of foam, leaving her unimpressed. Receiving her order of buffalo chicken mac and cheese, it gives her a horrible case of heartburn and Nicole begins to feel sick. Having witnessed enough, Taffer walks into the bar to confront Rodenheiser, who admits he's deep in debt. Assembling the staff together to introduce his experts, Taffer presents Michael Tips, a talented mixologist, and Spike Mendelson, a gifted chef. Walking around the bar with Tips, the expert notices that there aren't any mats, which is bound to cause issues. Supposedly, one bartender dislocated her knee from slipping on a wet pile where there weren't any mats. Chef Mendelson goes to investigate the kitchen, which violates tons of health codes and has equipment that's stained with a weird yellow film. Later on in the episode, Taffer joins Mendelson in the kitchen and finds a bucket filled with rotting chicken. Nasty. Before any of the renovations could be made, the Bar Rescue team had to conduct a deep clean of both the kitchen and general bar area. Following the much needed cleanse, Taffer was able to work his magic. Renaming it to The Bone, the interior was revamped to make it look more mature with wood and leather, and some mats were finally placed behind the bar. Fast forward to a while after Taffer and his team left, The Bone received an average 3-star review on Yelp. Most seemed to really love the improved menu and general atmosphere, but many complained about the service quality. In time, Rodenheiser decided to put up the bar for sale with an asking price of $175,000, but there weren't any takers. Officially closing down in June of 2014, the reason was detailed by the owner in a post on Facebook. Supposedly, the changes with the economy combined with the rise in cost of living expenses made it impossible to go on. By the end of the 4-paragraph post, it seemed like the close would only be temporary and that they'd return after Labor Day. However, this was proven not to be the case since it didn't reopen and probably never will. How disappointing. Angel's Sports Bar. Once being the hottest spot to go and watch any game of any sport, Angel's Sports Bar brought the owner Renee Vicari close to $90,000 a month. While the large interior used to be packed with people, the business is currently barely holding on. In an attempt to attract customers, Vicari decided to include activities such as karaoke, which didn't seem to make much of a difference. Stepping back a little, the owner also tried letting the general manager, Wayne, make some decisions, but he's too apathetic to care about the bar's sorry state. Considering the fact that they're losing close to $4,000 a month and have no options left, it seemed like the perfect call to involve Jon Taffer in the bar rescue team. Upon his arrival, yet again with his wife, Taffer and Nicole both take a look at the bar's Yelp reviews. Many claim that the place is dank and smells putrid, some even noticing that the smell was coming directly from the carpeting. Sending in Nicole as recon, she tests the food, which is predictably awful, and the drinks, which were very strong. After witnessing the poor service quality, Taffer storms into the bar with mixologist Michael Tips, training the staff on how to properly serve drinks. Additionally, he later brings in Deborah McGuire, who's an expert in customer service, to help further improve the general service quality. Following this, Taffer starts to discuss with the experts how to rebrand the bar since the name is very similar to a strip club nearby. On top of this, the bar rescue host recognizes that Wayne's lack of care is only bringing the business down and urges Vicari to fire him. Thanks to Taffer, Angels seem to be going in the right direction, especially with all the renovations made. Changing the name to Rax Billiards and Bourbon, the outside was repainted to include a much more pleasing color, and the inside was given tons of new billiard tables, a lounge area, and a miniature arcade section. Unfortunately though, someone was fatally stabbed outside of the bar in August of 2015, and the interest in Rax only went down from there. With an average 3-star review, even with the changes made, we don't doubt that it would have closed down anyway. The Abbey Pub. Owned by Tom Looney Sr., the bar initially was met with great success, making $50,000 a week. Though once the owner passed on the business to his son, who had no bar experience, things seriously went downhill. Urgently needing some guidance before the bar closed down for good, Tom called out to Jon Taffer. When arriving, Taffer sends in his wife for recon as usual, who thinks the pub is messy and that the bartenders carelessly overpour their drinks. Later entering himself, the bar rescue host confronts the owner and takes a look at the business's financial statements. Rather than make crazy profits like in the bar's heydays, Taffer only saw losses, especially when it came to food sales. Wanting some extra support for this rescue, Taffer calls in Peter O'Connor, an alcohol connoisseur, and Brian Duffy, an amazing chef. O'Connor notices that the bar area is extremely unhygienic and finds it weird that they use a soda cooler to keep drinks cold. In the kitchen, Duffy investigates the fridge, which is still being used despite being out of order, and finds a knife stuck between 2 counters, which could lead to injury. After dealing with these issues and presenting a new menu that would increase their sales, Taffer was finally able to renovate. Not only improving the bar's existing music venue to increase sales, the bar also received an aesthetic overhaul and new equipment which really seemed to please Tom. Following the bar's appearance on the show, sales seemed to have increased by 20% within just a month. However, after the music venue caught fire, the bar was forced to close down for renovations, but it seemingly never reopened. Well, that'll be all for today's video here on the channel. I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to drop a massive like down below and comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more content like this, and put on those sweet bell notifications for instant access to our content. Have a good one, guys.